Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. Tanzania's impressive economic outlook ignites optimism.
Sustainable development and inclusive economic growth, positioning Tanzania as a key player regionally and globally.
New impetus in agribusiness as Japan injects billions. Good evening, I am Faida Gaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. President Samia Suluhu Hassan reiterates Tanzania's commitment to multinational cooperation while strengthening country's economic growth, outlining substantial foreign direct investment that the country has attracted in the year 2024 with massive increase in export. President Samia Suluhu Hassan made the assurance in her speech during the diplomatic Sherry party held at the State House in Dar es Salaam earlier tonight.
We attracted substantial foreign direct investments with over $7.75 billion worth of projects registered in 2024 alone. Zanzibar also demonstrated remarkable progress, attracting about 116 projects with a combined value of $0.62 billion, generating approximately 3,376 jobs and reinforcing its critical role in the nation's economic diversification.
On the other hand, the head of state has underscored the formulation of the Presidential Commission on Tax Reforms in Tanzania, which signifies nation's commitment to create better investment climate, assuring continued reinforcement of 4R's philosophy to maintain peace and stability in Tanzania.
And cohesion, as I've done since my assumption to office. It is my desire to continue to prioritize reconciliation, resilience, reforms, and rebuilding principles which have contributed to Tanzania's progress and transformation by creating conducive environment for business and investment to thrive.
In other news, the president of Zanzibar and the chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi, says Tanzania and Nigeria have numerous opportunities that the two nations can explore to further deepen economic and investment ties. President Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks when he met and held talks with the ambassador of Tanzania to Nigeria, Ambassador Celestine Kakele, insisting that his government continues to strengthen the investment sector by removing trade and business obstacles that may hamper cooperation between the countries.
Ambao watakuwa tayari kuja kufanya investment kwenye sekta zote.
We welcome investors who are willing to invest in all sectors, especially tourism. We shall also work in removing obstacles which hinder good cooperation between us, because many West African products are consumed outside of West Africa.
On the other hand, Ambassador Kakele says Nigeria is a huge country with various economic and investment opportunities whereby Tanzania can benefit largely, calling on more efforts to improve visa system between the countries.
Nigeria is a big country with a lot of investment opportunities, especially in the banking sector. I believe if we create an enabling environment to process visa application, we will probably stimulate investment.
Tanzania has signed an agreement for a concessional loan worth 354.45 billion Tanzanian shillings with the government of Japan to boost the implementation of the country's agricultural and development projects in rural areas. Karen Malo has more.
The agreement was signed between the Ministry of Finance and the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA, aiming to transform the agricultural sector in the country through enabling small farmers to invest more in agribusiness. Minister of Finance Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba says the implementation of this project will boost food production through offering long-term loans to farmers.
This is a continuation of the support which is growing, as reflected by the increase in the number of bilateral development projects supported by the government of Japan through the official development assistance. The implementation of this project will drive the growth of the agricultural sector by enhancing farmers' productivity through access to affordable capital. This will be achieved by providing medium and long-term sub-loans to farmers, production groups and agriculture-related enterprises, enabling them to invest in modern farming practices and quality inputs and advanced technologies.
The Vice President of the Japan International Development Organization, Miyazaki Katsura, says the project aims at promoting agribusiness in the country while enhancing food security in the region.
The objective of this two-step loan project, which we signed today, is to facilitate financial functions related to the agricultural and rural development in Tanzania and to improve farmers' productivity through provision of medium and long-term sub-loans to a group of farmers and other beneficiaries by extending long-term financing to Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, TADB, contributing to the industrialization and commercialization of the agricultural and the rural sector, as well as to the Tanzania's domestic and regional food security.
On the other hand, the State Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Government of Japan, Fuji Hiyasaki, says the project will improve agricultural production, farmers' livelihoods, and agricultural value chain of the 4 prioritized crops in the country.
This project will promote commercialization of agriculture and strengthen food value chain in Tanzania so as to enhance food security and facilitate loans to farmers through the 22.742 Japanese yen that we have given to Tanzanian government.
The signed agreement between the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA and the Ministry of Finance goes along with the Tanzania's 5-year development plan, and it will be implemented by the Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, TAD. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
Now, to understand how Tanzania's agricultural sector will benefit from the funds, we are joined by the Managing Director of Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, Frank Nyabundege. Managing Director, welcome to TBC News.
Thank you so much.
So, people may be asking themselves, how do you usually reach the farmers in rural areas?
Okay, at TADB, we have 2 main ways of reaching farmers, especially in rural areas. First, we reach the farmers through we call it our own offices, where we have zone offices. We have currently 7 operating zone offices and 1 liaison office in Zanzibar, with the ambition of putting up a zone office in Zanzibar. So we'll be having a total of 7 zone offices. But also we have what we call, we use partner financial institutions to deliver our mandate, which is to ensure that we reach the farmers. And these partner financial institutions, currently we have 18 financial institutions. How do we operate with these partner financial institutions? They're the normal commercial banks who have a lot of branches, which we can call them service delivery centers. For them is that because they are in the grassroots, being community banks or the commercial banks, we give them funds, what we call wholesale lending. We lend them money, relatively cheaper rates, so that they can also on lend to our farmers at relatively cheaper rates, but also we give them guarantees. Guarantees the way of de-risking that are for them, instead of taking the risk, as they've been terming that the agricultural sectors are a bit risky. So we give them funds, we give them guarantees, which is cash covered, so that they can go to lend them. And the projects which are youth and women related, we cover up to 70%. The normal SMEs and other business, we cover up to 50%. And this has seen us reaching a lot of people in the rural areas, because they can be able to go and get funds which are guaranteed by TADB.
Looking at the year 2024, how has TADB played part in the transformation of the agricultural sector, and what is in store for 2025?
Okay, when you say about TADB, what we've done for 2024, first and foremost, 2024 was, we can call it a very good year for us in terms of performance, because we did quite a number of projects. We financed more than 55 projects. These are very big projects, and to the tune of 238 billion Tanzanian shillings, which we really put it directly. We have two types of lending. We call it direct lending, which we do ourselves, and indirect lending. As I pointed out earlier on, that we use another financial institutions, which our partner financial institutions. We also lent around 130 billion Tanzanian shillings. So if you take what we lent directly plus what our partner banks lent through our guarantees, you find out that we did almost more than 410 billion Tanzanian shillings that went into the economy in the agricultural sector. And you find out that what did we do more is to ensure, one, we reduce the interest rate into the market, because if you can recall, when the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, came into power into 2021, the rates which banks were giving out there in agricultural sector were ranging between 20 to around 25%. But she came in with a means of ensuring that she reduces these interest rates, among which is to give funds to TADB so that TADB can risk the banks, which we are seeing that the agricultural sector is a bit risky. So we are de-risking them. And then we have managed to reduce the interest rate now. At TADB, we lend at single digit. And we've seen even other commercial banks, so when we're giving them money at relatively cheaper rates, they can be able to lend to less than 10%, which is single digit, which is a desirable rate in agriculture as a rate. So that's what we did in 2024. But 2025, we are bigger ambition than that, because we want to lend on the indirect lending. We have set around 150 billion Tanzanian shillings that we want to lend to through indirect lending. But when you come to direct lending, we want to lend around 338 billion Tanzanian shillings. So we have 338 billion Tanzanian shillings, and we have 150 billion Tanzanian shillings that we are going to lend through the commercial banks or the partner financial institutions. So in nutshell, that in 2025, we want to do better than what we did in 2024. Much as 2024 was a very good year for us, we did much.
How do you ensure that the loans given do not default? You don't get defaulters once the farmers get the loans?
Okay, first and foremost, for us being a development bank, we are not only lending money to clients or to the farmers. We have some mechanisms of one, we have funds which we call them technical assistance funds. So we educate the farmers. One is that you taking this money, what are you going to do with the money? So before even we lend money to farmers, we have the unit in the bank, we call it smallholder transformation unit, which technically it teaches these farmers on how, one, to use the funds, and probably even the good agronomic practices that they can be able to do. So, and we've really been not only lending money out there, but we have been educating these people from the start to the end. And we have what we call integrated value chain financing model. The integrated value chain financing model that we have come up with at TADB has really helped the farmers to ensure that they don't go wrong when they get funding from the bank. How do we do this, the integrated value chain financing model, is that when the client comes to us to get money, let's say, for instance, is on the production, so he wants to go on the farm as a producer. The first question that we have to ask this farmer is, where is he or she going to sell the product that she's going to produce? Why are we asking that? Because experience has showed us that there are some farmers, they go to the farm, they do well, but at the end of the day, they don't get market. So they have no market, they fail because they don't have market. That's one. Second, we ask this client, where are you going to, we call it post-harvest management. Where are you going to store the product that you are going to produce? Because we have also learned that there are some farmers who fail because of the post-harvest management losses. Either is excessively than the normal, because assuming that the person who is on doing the, let's say, for instance, horticulture products, and then he doesn't have cold room facilities. When he finishes and then...
so the bank provides the facilities?
Yes, so we ensure that, one, we link, if we are in the production, we link you with the post-harvest management person who is going to, once you have done, we're going to store your product from here, but we also find the market, because we have knowledge which probably the farmers they don't have. So we know this, that's why we call it value chain financing model, integrated value chain financing model, that we integrate from the production to the market. In fact, nowadays we say not only to the market, to the table, because we want these people to ensure that the food we are producing goes to the table and with the very minimum losses that can be, we can encounter in between.
Lastly, how do you picture the future of Tanzania's agricultural sector with these funds? As we all know, Tanzania has plans, ambitious plans, to be the food basket of Africa. So with these funds, how do you see that happening?
Okay, let me, before I just come specifically to the fund, let me say one thing that probably you guys, you are in the media, you may have seen it. You know, we have a leader who has a political will to ensure that agriculture prospers. And the reason why, that's my thinking, and probably that should be our thinking as well, because agricultural sector is the one which carries a lot of people. More than 65% of the population of Tanzanians are on the agricultural sector, whether in the crops or fisheries or livestock. So when she came to the power, she has really been putting money into the agricultural sector. Putting to the budgetary support on the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, but also TADB as the implementing financial institutions. Because when she came into the power, the very first year, in 2021, she gave us 208 billion Tanzanian shillings. And then in 2022, she, through the economic diplomacy, which is what even we did today or with JICA, through economic diplomacy, I always call her the diplomat number one in this country. She managed to get 210 billion from French Development Agency for TADB. And then last year, she gave us another capital, 174 billion Tanzanian shillings. So today, we signed 354.45 billion Tanzanian shillings, which is 22.74 billion Japanese yen. So you find out that if you total that amount of money since she came into power, to date, we have received more than 914 billion Tanzanian shillings. So that money goes to the farmers. And that's why you can be able to see, if you are following up the data in terms of the agricultural sector, the food safety in Tanzania has really now reached 128%. When she got in power, where the food sufficiency in Tanzania were producing around 18 million metric tons. Right now, we are almost at 22 million metric tons within a span of 4 years. So the political will that the President of the United Republic of Tanzania has towards the agricultural sector we really take agricultural sector to another level because she's really supporting it. And she's supporting it because she has love with Tanzanians, because she knows many of Tanzanians are in agricultural sector. That's why you have seen in the fisheries sector, she gave us money, TADB, to lend without interest. That's something that probably you can never hear it anywhere. And
so the future, the cost is clear. You're saying
yes.
The future is bright.
The future is very bright as far as agricultural sector is concerned, because we have a leader who has a political will to support the agricultural sector in Tanzania.
Thank you very much, Managing Director.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll talk in detail next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now let's have a look at other stories. The government, through the Tanzania Rural and Urban Roads Agency, TARURA, Dar es Salaam region, has commenced the construction of a 65-kilometer long road under the Dar es Salaam Metropolitan Development Project, DMDP, worth 190 billion shillings, following the finalization of 8 tenders with contractors. Here's a report by Henry Mabumo, read to you by Antonia Kivaria.
Roads connecting the street of Dar es Salaam are set to undergo massive renovation that are expected to change the city outlook.
We have progressed in other sectors as a nation, but we don't have proper roads and streets. We have such roads since independence until today.
TBC meets the Tanzania Rural Urban Road Agency acting manager for the Dar es Salaam region to get to know the progress that have been made on Dar es Salaam Metropolitan Development Project, DMDP.
Official. Contractually, the work has already begun, and the planned completion is April 14, 2026.
He also mentions other roads that are to be implemented under the project, where more than 27 billion have been approved for the construction for 60 roads.
We have signed the contracts, and engineers are in various areas completing the work they have started.
In this fiscal year, Tanzania Rural Urban Roads Agency, TARURA, Dar es Salaam region, has been approved for 52 billion shilling for the implementation of various road projects.
The past decade has been reported to be the hottest on record, with 2024 emerging as the warmest year to date. Therefore, the World Meteorological Organization has called for immediate, robust action against climate change. It says the year 2024 is the first in which the global average temperature exceeded 15.1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Here are more details.
In a world where climate change has become an undeniable reality, the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, has confirmed that 2024 stands as the warmest year on record. This decade was marked by unprecedented heat, with all 10 years ranking among the hottest ever recorded. According to the WMO's analysis, which used data from 6 international sources, 2024 is likely the first year to exceed the critical temperature threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius above the average from 1850 to 1900. In a statement, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres highlighted the urgency of the situation, stating that while 1 year exceeding this limit does not mean long-term goals are unattainable, it underscores the need for stronger climate action. The data reveals not only record high surface temperatures, but also significant warming of oceans, which are now at their warmest levels ever recorded. Approximately 90% of excess heat from global warming is absorbed by oceans, making ocean heat content a vital indicator of climate change. Despite these concerning trends, WMO officials emphasize that short-term fluctuations should not distract from long-term climate goals outlined in the Paris Agreement. There is an urgent call for renewed national climate action plans to protect vulnerable populations facing severe climate impacts. The WMO stresses that immediate and robust climate action is essential to guide global temperatures back on track and prevent the worst effects of climate change.
The Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade, Exalt Kigahe, says the Japanese automobile spare parts investors have expressed willingness to invest in the country, emphasizing that Japan is one of Tanzania's main investment partners, whereby until 2024, Japan has invested in 24 projects worth $11.42 million, creating more than 1,182 jobs. Karen Meleo has more.
This was said at the Investors Forum between Tanzania and Japanese investors, where the Deputy Minister of Industry and Trade emphasizes that the move will enable promotion of technology in the country, will increase employment, and will offer expertise to the Tanzanians.
Trade continues to grow, with Tanzania exporting agricultural products like coffee and tea to Japan, while importing machinery, electronics, and vehicles from Japan. The relationship is further strengthened through cultural exchanges, capacity building programs, and platforms like TICAD, that's Tokyo International Conference on African Development Framework.
On the other hand, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, Fuji Hisayaka, says Tanzania is the safest and the most stable country for Japan business community to invest in.
In Africa, Tanzania is a safe and stable country, providing a secure investment environment for foreign companies. As you all know, Tanzania's largest port, the port of Dar es Salaam, is linked to neighboring countries by major truck roads, and the Tanzania-Zambia Railways and the Tanzania Railway Corporation is also planning to complete the extension of a standard gauge railway in the near future.
A business development specialist, Ichikawa Akika, highlights that the forum has been crucial to business people as it opened their eyes to investment opportunities available in the country.
I think it's very important to keep the communication like this and then feel our management more closer. The Tanzania and Japan is cross-country.
The forum brings together more than 20 Japanese companies to strengthen joint venture investments between the government and the private sectors in promoting business and investment in the country. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
The Kinondoni Municipality Chief Medical Officer Dr. Peter Nsanya says Tanzania has made major strides in reducing cases of neglected tropical diseases like elephantiasis and hydrocele, explaining how the Kinondoni Municipality is set to fight the diseases. He made the remarks in Dar es Salaam during a special workshop session targeting to impact skills and knowledge amongst journalists on neglected tropical diseases. Peter Mganga reports.
Tanzania established the National Lymphatic Filariasis Elimination Program has been operational since 2000. According to the World Health Organization, approximately 882.5 million people in 44 countries worldwide are at risk of contracting lymphatic filariasis, making it the second most common vector-borne disease after malaria. Today, the Chief Medical Officer of Kinondoni Municipality, Dr. Peter Nsanya, explains how Kinondoni Municipality has managed to overcome lymphatic filariasis and hydrocele cases. In Tanzania, this disease has decreased significantly, but in Kinondoni, there are still 10 wards that are affected by this disease. Through this program, we are going to end this challenge. We hope to provide antibiotics to all patients in 10 centers that are available in our municipality. Furthermore, Dr. Peter Nsanya urges members of the community to seek treatment so as to avoid the disease after effects, urging the journalists to write and discuss more on the diseases to increase awareness amongst the public. I urge all Dar es Salaam residents who are living in these listed wards to show up in the exercise of distributing cures for this disease. We are looking forward to serve 284,000 Tanzanians in 10 wards of Kinondoni municipality. The district will kick off special campaign to give antibiotics to those affected by the lymphatic filariasis and hydrocele cases from 22nd to 26th January 2025 and will target children from the age of 5 years. Peter Mganga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
Now let's have a look at the sports news that we have today. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced the postponement of the CAF African Nations Championship, CHAN, which were to kick off this February in Tanzania, Kenya and Uganda in 2024 to August 2025. CAF technical and infrastructure experts, some of whom have been based in Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, have advised CAF that more time is required to ensure that the infrastructure and facilities are at the best levels necessary for hosting a successful CHAN competition. The president of CAF, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, expressed deep gratitude to President William Ruto of Kenya, President Samia Suluhu Hassan of Tanzania, and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda for their leadership, commitment, and the progress that has been made in building and upgrading the stadiums, training fields, hotels, hospitals, and other infrastructure and facilities in Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, ready to host a successful African Nations Championship 2024. And on that note, we are ending our news bulletin for tonight, but don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.